I'm Sanjay Vakharia, and as we speak today, I am the CEO and also a co-founder of the brand Spykar. And as you just mentioned, this is the third decade of our existence as a brand. And me and Mr. Prasad Paprikar and two of other colleagues of ours, we founded this brand in 1992. And it's kind of going to be real challenging to put all these 30 years into a couple of lines. But yeah, we started off as pure play denim manufacturers and sellers. Our idea was always to bring to the markets probably the kind of products that we wanted for ourselves. Not really found very easily in Indian markets at that point of time, and so we felt there was a gap, and we wanted to fill that gap. So we kind of zeroed in on two things. One is the consumer, which is very young, and the second is his requirements for fashion denims. So and these three decades have been mostly about these two very strong pillars, which is bringing fashion and using the denim as a canvas to kind of do very interesting things on the denim, and also kind of look at a customer who's pretty young. Well, that has moved now a little bit more. It's become more broader in that sense. It's young and restless, and not just the young part of it. So yeah, we've been very how do I put it? It's been a very sincere effort to stay very to stay sincere to these two pillars, and it's kind of worked very well for us. Uh, that's as far as the professional piece is concerned for me. Personally, I have always been wanting to be part of the fashion stroke marketing stroke brand space, and back from my earliest days of education, I have tried and kind of built some level of competencies around marketing and sales, and with a clear focus on brand. uh, it's been very natural and inborn for me that even in my 11th standard, I looked at marketing and salesmanship as an elective in my college, purely because it just kind of brands really lured me a lot, and kind of got me excited all my life. So here I am. I'm very happy that what started as a very very simple interest in advertising has led me to kind of get into a space where I've been able to build a very very successful and a very a brand which one can be proud of. So yeah, this is where we are. So the most primary investments anyone has to really make is actually kind of arrive at a focus area and a vision which you want to fulfill over a particular period of time. Uh, and subsequent to that, and the most natural follower to that is one has to build a very very competent and a very exciting and enthusiastic team around it, because these both things feed into each other, uh, and they render the other thing incompetent and ineffective if any one of them is not very clear. So I think what you really desire for yourself, and then to have a team which really goes all out and tries and get to the desired uh, objective, uh, becomes very very critical for any business in today's times to function and to succeed. So forced upon anyone, the person changes and adapts to all the changes. So I think the pandemic taught all of us this. As people, we were forced to kind of confine ourselves to some small places, confine ourselves to long hours of talking to each other over a screen, confine ourselves to making life do without much, living with less, uh, adapting to changes around us, especially the tech changes which are happening around us. And so that very, very clearly shows us that there is a very huge potential that each of us have, and if we are forced to kind of deliver on those, we will not fall short. So yeah, people, there has to be enough motivation or coercion or force for people to really take on things. There is a lot of hidden and latent potential in each of us, which does not come to the fore unless it's kind of very critical. So that's one learning that I've had. I think from a process perspective, I think a pandemic kind of a situation told us that while processes are so important to put things in the right perspective and build efficiencies, they really should not be the obstacles to lend itself to a, basically you need to be a little nimble on that front as well. So you don't need to really cast your processes in stone, where they become stumbling blocks rather than building blocks. So from that perspective, there has to be certain areas within the entire process which, if needed, can be, I would not say tweaked, but improvised to take care of situations which arise, which we have not been kind of accustomed to or were ready for. So yeah, process is very important, because it kind of brings a lot of semblance of standardization. It builds a lot of predictability in the entire business, but it has to have that bit of flexibility for it to be useful to you in those dire circumstances. And technology, obviously, there is so much of technology all around us. It's very important that we identify the technology which will help us to grow and which is necessary for us to grow. Because you have to really figure out which is what's important from the riffraff which is around us, and I think there's so much that's being sold and thrown around us across every piece of every basically everything that we can ever think of is now kind of put across to a pedal to you in the form of technology. So it's very important for you to understand what is that the business needs, what does that the business needs as of now, and if you can in foreseeable future figure that out and build yourself to have a capability of adapting to that technology. So yes, technology, it becomes and stays very important, and it will become all the more important in coming times. But you need to segregate the must-haves versus the can-haves. So companies who basically, what is culture? Culture is culture a habit, or is culture something more than just an habit? So we need to first define what culture is, and then it kind of becomes very different what it should be for many different businesses, many industries, and also based on the longevity of the business. So a lot of things will change. For businesses like Spykar, which are 30-year-old, and in these 30 years, so much has happened around us, and the business has been built purely on the back of an excellent team, which the company and the brand possesses. And so along with the team also comes a lot of longevity and a bit of complacency. If I put that with the new set of people that Spykar is getting on board, who are coming with a very fresh perspective of the brand Spykar and its culture, it becomes all the more challenging, but an interesting challenge to have, where you ensure that the best of both the worlds are brought in, and you ensure that the worst of both the worlds don't come together. Because culturally the mix is very distinct and very stark, and hence you have to be all the more careful that the loyalty and the commitment and the comfort that the old people bring on table, and the experience that they get on table is very well blended with the enthusiasm and the aspiration and the ambition that the new set of people come when they come and join a company like Spykar. So at a senior level, that's probably the only area that one really needs to work on and to kind of get their hands dirty on. Otherwise, if I really have to say what culture is, I think it's probably the set of ethics that you lay down for yourself, that the brand and the business has to follow, and hence the people has to follow. So in that sense, those few things never change, whether the team is old or they're new. They have to align to the same ethics and the code of conduct that the business has. We are very, very happy that we have a very strong team who's been around Spykar, with Spykar for the last so many years. And we've been through our own ups and downs, and the teams have managed to steer the brand and the business from difficult times to good times. Again, going through some difficult times and bringing it out through so many challenges. And this resistance and this resilience that the team has is something that I would like the new set of people joining Spykar to kind of look at, embrace, and also imbibe in themselves, because at some point of time, at some place, if not Spykar, they probably will also be putting a lot of time of theirs in there. And these are few cultural inputs one should always have in a good professional. The blend of the new and the old has to coincide very well and sit well in an organization, because none of them are less important than each other. So the enthusiasm and the ambition that the new set of people bring in the company is as important and and has to be blended very well with the experience that the company provides or has from set of people who have been with them for a long time. So culturally, I think the most important part is you set your basic code of ethics, and whether the new guys are there or old people are there, they both need to follow the code of ethics, because I think at the end of the day, business has to be run with some very, very simple ethics in mind, and only those businesses eventually succeed. I think one of the biggest reasons why we have so many successful unicorns is that they probably are moving in an area which they are not aware of. And they go in with a lot of faith and trust and a lot of aspiration, but without the baggage of any experience. So a lot of times, this baggage of experience and your knowledge actually wears you down. So my advice to anybody over here is that follow your gut, because 9 times out of 10 best businesses are built on the gut. But follow it up with very good execution and very sincere execution. I think if there's a mix of these two, and obviously every money that you spend, consider it as your own money that you're spending, which will bring in a lot of frugality and the bottom line focus, which is so critical for any business to succeed. Yeah, but I think sometimes ignorance is a bliss, and case of startups, it is surely a blessing. So I would recommend each and every person out there who wants to expand himself into doing something of his own, start very young and start up. I think you need to keep daring and follow your own gut and instincts. I'm sure success has to follow.